Remember when I said I'm starting a new series called Trump Breaks It, We Fix It? Well, it turns out for some of these issues, if we just wait long enough, he ends up reversing them himself, because when it comes down to it, this administration is just trying to throw shit at the wall to try to break it and see what they can actually do. A lot of what they're doing is illegal, and they're getting an extremely large amount of pushback on certain things. So last week I came to you with ideas on how we can fight back if they actually do pull all federal funding for grants and social services. And then all of that got erased. For now, there's still the threat of it, but it's not a thing that we need to be actively pushing on right this moment. Then came the tariffs, and there is so much disinformation. Again, I so encourage you guys, please get a VPN and check news outside of the United States. And when I say news outside of the United States, you should be aware that BBC News Made for America, The Guardian Made for America, Reuters Made for America, any of their news that the segments are specifically made for an American audience is not going to include the same information that they give to the rest of the world. So make sure that you're actually reading the world news on those sites, not the snippets that are being fed to Americans. One of the big things with these tariffs is that, especially over on Truth Social, everyone is praising the orange president because look at what he's done. Well, let's look at what he's done. What concessions did Mexico and Canada actually give to us? Now, Sheinbaum, in my eyes, is a freaking genius. She's given a master class on how to negotiate with Trump. She told her people, stay calm, don't freak out. We're going to get this delayed. And she sure did. And what she promised, the 10,000 troops at the border, was not actually out of the scope of what Mexico was already promising to do before Trump took office. And then what's missing from the national news story in the United States about this is what concessions we made. So this wasn't just Mexico going, okay, we'll give you 10,000 troops at the border and we'll stop or try to slow down fentanyl coming into the United States. Trump actually also said, and we will start to slow down, or in as much as we can try to stop military grade weapons from entering Mexico. Because that's what the cartels are using. They're not using Mexican weapons, they're using United States weapons. That's how it's always been. So this was tit for tat. Less drugs, less guns. Then let's look at what happened with Trudeau. So Canada gave great feedback. I mean, props to Ontario, props to Nova Scotia. All Trudeau did was say, yeah, the $1.3 billion border protections that we as a country passed back in December, before you were president, we're going to enact those, just like we were going to. We got nothing. We got nothing new out of that. So now there's the threat that in a month we're going to go through this again. This is noise. This is distraction. What is it distraction for? The things that actually are happening that haven't been fixed. So that includes all of the crazy ass things that DOGE is doing, Elon Musk getting all of our private information. And frankly, as someone who's had a PayPal account for decades, he's had my information. I'm not that worried about it. I am worried about him being able to actually pull the purse strings, the purse that Congress is supposed to control. So a lot of illegal stuff is happening with DOGE, shutting down departments. That is stuff that we need to be calling our Congress people about. That is the stuff that we need to be getting on the streets and protesting. That is the stuff that we need to be paying attention to. Other things, just to say it, that haven't been fixed. The damage that they are doing, deporting what they are calling, these violent illegals, and sane people call them undocumented migrants. We have no data as to how many of these deportees are actually have any sort of criminal record whatsoever. We do have data that American citizens have been detained and questioned by ICE, including at least one story of a U.S. veteran. So that's, super respectful and awesome there. And then also the harm that's being done to the transgender, non-binary, and now also queer population. So somehow I got lumped into this. I mean, you can erase the T and the Q, but it doesn't erase my queer ass. I'm sorry. Also, just for the record, like, queer doesn't just mean gender queer. I'm not personally gender queer. If like, I completely support my gender queer friends. But yeah, just because you don't understand what a word is doesn't mean that you can just erase it. We're still here. Hi, you didn't get rid of me. There will always be queer and transgender people. All right, so fixing it. Congress, part of the reason Congress couldn't be as effective, and I understand that they're often not effective, but as effective as they could have been last week, is that their sessions were cut. They were told, don't come in. Congress is being disregarded as much as possible. You need to be contacting your Congress people every day. Every day. You need to be calling, you need to be emailing. I don't care if they're Republican, Democrat, Independent. They need to hear from you. Will that be effective? I don't know. But I do know that our voices do have power. And they do actually have power with the big orange dictator. Ooh, orange oligarch. Let's use that. With the big orange oligarch. Because he doesn't like hearing everyone being pissed off at him. That's why he created Truth Social, so that he could have a nice little echo chamber. And I actually would love to share with you that Truth Social is being taken over by Canadians since all of this tariff stuff. So that's not even his safe haven right now. So we need to be loud. We need to be loud. The other way to get loud is to come to some of these organized protests. So 50501 is happening tomorrow in the capital of every state. I highly recommend looking them up. They have a website, they have a Reddit, they have a Discord. You can find them on the socials. Also, the General Strike, generalstrike.com, which is linked in my link tree, is still looking for people to sign up. And I am so proud of everyone who's been getting out on the streets and protesting, shutting highways down. This is the time to do that. This is the time to do that. We need to stand up against Musk getting his grubby fingers on our money, and for the rights of undocumented immigrants, and for our trans, non-binary, and queer members of society who right now are feeling like they're not being supported, because there's a lot of support on social media saying, we hear you, we stand with you. There's not a lot of actually boots on the ground to stand up for that population. So there you go. There are your action items. Stay calm. We can do this. This is a marathon, not a sprint. See you soon.